mentioned, I've been with Winsim for a couple of years, and I'd like to try to share sort of a high-level perspective on the industry, and also where Winsim aims to contribute, where we build on, we say, a rich and interesting and platform and impact that Arne has initiated more than 20 years ago, and that we really believe will contribute to this industry going forward. So Winsim's mission is really to have a positive impact on the in the renewable area by maximizing the competitiveness of wind energy. So basically, it's really about providing the best models to develop wind farms that can create the most electricity at the lowest cost and uncertainty. And we do this by providing the most accurate wind models available using CFD, both our software, our competencies, and also related and complementing technologies. If you look at the trends, I think what we saw and shared last year are basically being reinforced. Climate has been a massive driver for our industry through the war in Ukraine and the general macro environment. We also see a demand driven by the need for energy security. For example, I think last week or a couple of weeks ago, Switzerland held a referendum where the government basically was recommending, and the voters adopted a policy to make the whole country basically carbon neutral. And the arguments was a combination of climate, but also about energy security. That a country like Switzerland is too risky. It's not desirable for the society to be dependent on such important sort of infrastructure as energy on countries beyond their kind of sphere of influence and so on. And then it's also about cost. The upper right picture here shows the levelized cost of energy for different energy sources or sources of eventually of electricity, and how they've developed over the last years, and what is the expected prices to be in 2030. So if you just look at, okay, what type of source should I look at to generate electricity, then you can't get around wind power, because the prices, the efficiencies, the scale has really driven down cost. And we strongly believe, and most people believe, that it will continue to go. And there's some fundamental drivers to this that, compared to other energy sources, both solar and wind are relatively simple. It's not very high complexity, and you can do repeatable deployments. Whereas other sources, like nuclear, are highly complex and highly tailored. So we believe that there are some fundamental forces that will continue to have a positive impact on the cost and competitiveness of wind power, because you get a cost benefits when scaling. Also, more specifically for Winsim, we are very interested in complexity, because we have models that capture wind flows in complex situations. Historically, that's been a lot about the terrain, slopes, and so on. I think we mentioned last year that we see more and more projects that are moving into more complex and more marginal wind environments, where the benefits of CFD and the accurate models are important. But we also see that around industrial sites or open mine pits and so on, there's also now being developed wind farms, where you also then have complexity. Another example are building wind farms around forests that are grown for commercial purposes, where the vegetation will change significantly over the lifespan of the project. And then finally, you see offshore is coming up. There's a lot of excitement around that, I think, all over the world. But so far it's in an inception. It's low volumes, but offshore wind will definitely be a major contributor in our industry over the next years. Right. So what's the value of accuracy? Fundamentally, it's really about you being able to make better decisions because you have quality information about what raw material you have available when it comes to developing a good wind farm. And this is one of the, I think, from a commercial perspective, one of the rewarding things about working with wind flow models is that we believe that we can contribute both to increasing revenues for projects by helping position turbines to maximize the energy production, but also to lower cost by avoiding areas of turbulence and reflow, which will negatively impact the maintenance cost of your farms. And then thirdly, also in general, by reducing the uncertainty of a project and also maybe of the lifetime, which Sentient will talk about later today, it impacts of the perceived risk of the project from investors that again impacts the cost of capital, which eventually also is a major element when it comes to making wind energy competitive compared to other sources. So last year we launched WindSim Accelerator. The main benefits were in the area of improved computing time for a specific project is an order of magnitude, depending on the size. Arne talked about that. But it's also about going to a cloud that you improve accessibility. You make it easier for colleagues, more people to work on the solution when you're not constrained to one physical machine running an installed piece of software. And it also increases then transparency and opportunities for collaboration. There's a lot of work there, but it indicates some of the additional benefits of the cloud. It's also allowed us to release improvements, which initially has been about some features and responding to requests and input from our users on usability and also on efficiencies. For example, our new solver, which will significantly reduce the computing time. So I think our assumption, which is now a strong core belief, is that the cloud is basically WindSim's prioritized platform going forward, because it's the most suitable platform to deliver and to improve our wind flow solution. So in terms of the impact, and this is really what motivates us, because we believe that by providing the best models to the community, we can increase the impact of our solution. So we've had a lot of existing WinSim desktop customers now are in the process of transitioning and are using Accelerator, and you'll hear some examples later in this later today on examples. We're also bringing in new companies to our community, and we're seeing new use cases emerging where WinSim Accelerator is the tool. Right. So our ambition going forward is basically to help to make the most accurate and user-friendly wind flow models available to wind analysts and also to project developers. So keywords is accuracy. That's the legacy that we're building on. We're going to make it continue to make it fast and faster, and also to improve the user friendliness of the tool, so that it suits the job that you are doing. So that was I think wrapping up kind of the high level perspective that we want to share. I'll be joined by Theo, and we'll spend some time talking about the product and our roadmap.